Welcome back to One Leg at a Time, the podcast about health, wellness, fun, recovery, and music. I'm Dr. Dean Anbar, and I want to thank you for joining me in this short talk following the release of the first batch of 8 interviews. I just want to reflect a bit and share some of my insights from those conversations, as well as what's to come for the show. I want to start by saying a heartfelt thank you to my first 8 guests, Harry, Zephyr, Kalina, Dylan, Francisco, Mauricio, Jason, and Andrew. Learning about each one of their stories, their priorities, and how they operate has shed light on their individual accomplishments. Their stories have inspired me to consider how I can adopt some of their strategies and mindsets into my own life as well. Each guest surprised me with their willingness to discuss challenges and struggles. And frankly, it's not often that people get to sit down and really talk to each other about what's actually going on in their lives. Not just about their struggles, but why it is that they continue to push day after day to stake their claim in this profession. As artists, there is a particular bond that we all share, a love of our craft, a desire to create and achieve more every day. I hope that as you listen to the episodes of this first season, that you'll also see these exceptional individuals for who they are and consider how you can apply their wisdom as well. This show began with my desire to shed a light not only on the challenges faced by creatives, but a place to share the tools, methods, and mindsets that get us through the day with our sanity intact. For the most part, we're people who don't get time off from our work. We literally are our life's work, and we live it and breathe it day in and day out. There is no respite from being an up-and-coming creative in the modern world. It takes a very specific kind of person to stick with a career as unpredictable and at times unstable as this one. And that's exactly why I think it's important to have a platform for people in this industry to share their insights. I'm lucky to have found tools that work for me, and I have held on to them desperately. The things that I've discovered that have helped me to find some degree of inner peace, mostly through fitness, various types of meditation, and preparation. I've developed a sort of ongoing active gratitude for my health and ability to survive and persist. For me, those things are the cornerstone of my recovered self. And so I prioritize them in my life because I know that I will be more likely to continue to make more good decisions for myself if I do. Perhaps the hardest thing about being a creative professional is balancing the pursuit of the craft with the need to keep oneself sane. It's just hard to find time in the course of a standard 24-hour day to do everything. Throw in travel, long days on a gig or a set, or in a studio, or a deadline, or a birthday party, or any other type of a deviation, and it seems like the whole foundation can vanish in an instant. One of the things that I wanted to accomplish with this podcast was to hear firsthand from other people what it is that they prioritize and how they deal with those kinds of challenges as they come up. As the show is thematically rooted in self-improvement and wellness, I want to break down any misconceptions or myths or taboos surrounding the idea of recovery in its various forms so that people listening can feel closer to being able to live the lives they want to live in happiness and harmony with their ideal selves. Recovery is a broad term, but you don't have to be a fully dependent addict to apply some of the concepts of recovery to your life. Anything in your personal life that might be impeding your ability to be happy or holding you back from living your life to the fullest extent of your potential is something worth examining critically. Of course, the only proper diagnosis is a self-diagnosis. So if you're wondering whether you fall into the category of someone who has a problem, let me share an anecdote. For years, I wondered if I was truly an alcoholic, a drug addict, or both, or neither. In some ways, I was fully capable of achieving tasks, both basic and advanced. I was always a hard worker, and I was outwardly moving towards success. However, I was physically dependent on drugs for years and in a constant state of distress. So much so that it was only through supervised hospitalization that I was able to actually withdraw from these substances. And somehow, I was only able to come to the conclusion that I was truly an addict when I had the realization that I was experiencing personal identification with the stories of other addicts. And that identification alone was the only prescription I needed, because it was the only one I could listen to. And thus, it was the only one that mattered. It wasn't anyone's specific story, because of course, everyone has a different life experience, and honestly, I didn't deal with many of the hard things that addicts have had to deal with. I've been lucky to avoid some of the worst case rock bottom kinds of scenarios. But after so many years of struggle, the thought clicked with me that the simple fact of my identification as an addict is what makes me an addict. And from this simple accepting of my condition, I can move forward into the solutions for people like me. So now it's time for some cliche statements that work. Give yourself some grace. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Don't worry about trying to change everything about yourself all at once. That's not what any of this is about. This is about acknowledging what you do and what you can do better, and opting for a path that ultimately gives you the freedom to be as happy as you want to be. Know that you're never alone, and that thousands, if not millions of people have gone through whatever challenge you have faced and have a ton of experience to share that can help. I just hope that this show can be a resource to anyone who's interested in these types of people living these types of lives, talking about the things that they do to feel better. Moving into season 2, which will begin releasing in a few weeks, I'll be back on a weekly release schedule. I'm currently working with some people to help update the look and the feel of the show to better match the high standards of the industry. Although I have enjoyed the grassroots nature of the first batch, I think that ultimately the show will benefit from these changes. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching, and feel free to drop a line on social media or to onelegpod@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to stay in touch. And remember, I put my pants on one leg at a time.
Put your pants on one leg at a time. One leg at a time. One leg. Put your pants on one leg at a time.